Hello and welcome to Share Talk. I am Matt Brown. I'm joined today by Bisht, who is the Executive Director of Empyrean Energy PLC. Down the line, and hopefully we're going to get a lot of information today, certainly on the back of last week, where Empyrean reported multiple gas shows in their Dempsey well. So good afternoon to you, Ghazi. Are you well?
Thanks, Matt. I'm good.
So as I mentioned in the open there, a fantastic update to the market, and we saw the share price move steadily to the upside. Can you just talk us through the update that you made last week?
Yes, Matt. So since the last week release, we have been drilling through the exploration target of Dempsey well and moving towards the agreed target of the TD, the total depth in the basement. As of today, we are still drilling towards the basement, and we are expecting, with the back calculation, we could reach there in a day or two.
Understood. And what is the timeline for getting Dempsey into production, and will that income be enough to fund the company through all its other projects?
Yes, Matt. I mean, as you know, we haven't TD'd the well as yet, so there are a few days to reach the TD. Then after that, we will be recording the conventional logging. Following that, there will be interpretation of those logs to assess the gas saturation in those shows we have seen. Once that is done, we will then run a production casing and cement it. And then once the production casing is set, we will be conducting formation testing results. So that timeline is pretty extended. I mean, we would like to complete it as soon as possible, but it could take anywhere from the 2 to 3 weeks getting to running the logs, cementing the production casing, and then testing the well result.
Understood. And once you get, or you start drilling and you are drilling, will additional funds be required to continue this particular Dempsey project?
At the moment, we are fully funded for our activities in all the 3 key assets, including Dempsey. Of course, the Dempsey has taken a little bit longer than we anticipated from the AFE the operator submitted. So there will be some growth in the project cost, but that is all well covered at the moment. So we, for the current operation in Dempsey or elsewhere in China or Indonesia, we don't require any new funding. But we will be evaluating this funding option going forward as the results come in hand.
Understood. So that's good news for shareholders. And with regards to still focusing on Dempsey and a timeline, what can we expect? What milestones can we expect with regards to updates or shareholders? What can they expect to come out from Empyrean over the coming weeks and months?
So the first information flow from Dempsey well will be reaching the total depth of the target depth in the well, which we are expecting 2 to 3 days' time. Following that, there will be a successful completion of electric logging, and we will be reporting to the market once the log has been acquired, processed, and interpreted, whether there is gas pay identified in these logs, what is the thickness of those gas pay zones, and following that, as I described, there will be successful running of the casing, production casing in the well, and successfully cementing it, followed by the exciting news of if there is a promising zone which we would like to test. So the final news flow in a short term will be conducting a flow test of those target zones in the well. So as you can see, there will be a series of updated information coming through the operator and us, Empyrean, for the shareholders, from Dempsey in particular, in this coming weeks now.
Fantastic, Az. And obviously in this interview, because of the announcement last week, we have particularly been focusing on the Dempsey project. But Can you just talk us through the timelines in relation to your Chinese and Mako projects that you've also got running at the moment?
Yeah, sure, Matt. So in China, as we announced, I think a week back, we have successfully conducted our 3D survey there, which is currently being processed. We had a fast-track seismic cube, which we interpreted and identified three prospects, jade, topaz, and pearl. We have a handle on the size of those prospects, which we announced, I think, a week ago. And that was on the basis of first pass process data set. The full process or the final process data will be in hand by Christmas. At that stage, we will be conducting a final seismic interpretation of this newly acquired 3D data set. But from now till Christmas, we want to understand the oil migration pathway from the basin or the kitchen area into our prospect. So a little bit of technical work required to do the prospect risking of topaz, jade, and pearl in conjunction with the seismic processing. So by the time we have seismic processed cube with hand in Christmas or just soon after that, we will be in a position to complete our interpretation and incorporate this geological study focused on oil migration in China. So that's the timeline for China project from 3 to 6 month period. In Indonesia, Mako project, where we are at the moment, the data we acquired in Mako South, in particular the core data and the and the flow test data, that is getting analyzed in its entirety. The analysis of core data is important to understand the permeability, which is a key factor in deciding how best to produce this gas from this project. At the same time, operator is engaged in moving this project forward in securing what is called plan of development, POD. So operator is focused on that. Operator is focused on conducting the full analysis of the acquired data in the well. And once that is done in 6 to 8 months period, we will have hopefully a greater understanding of how much gas is there and how best to produce it going forward.
Fantastic. And finally, with just focusing back on the Dempsey well as well, how was the feeling with the board with the results and the announcement last week? Was it a good feeling, a positive feeling amongst yourself and the rest of the board members?
Yes, I mean, if you recall, Dempsey was a purely exploration well from a deeper target point of view. And the fact that, we have seen series of gas shows in the section we have drilled through in this well is pretty exciting. So what it has proven is the geological concept, if you like. Now, of course, we have to verify the significance of these the shows we have seen while drilling via the conventional logging. But so far the results are encouraging because it is proving our geological understanding of the basin, geological understanding of the Dempsey project in particular, and it is all is a good feeling from a geoscience point of view that our interpretation, including our operator Segasco's interpretation, was quite up to scratch there, and we are coming good from that point of view. Still, there is this risk of whether the conventional logging proves up these enormous amount of shows we have seen in various zones in terms of the net gas pay will be the key test for this particular project.
Well, fantastic. So both myself and obviously the viewers of Share Talk will watch your stock eagerly, and hopefully we get some more positive results and shows coming over the next weeks and months. But in the meantime, Gaz Bisht, who is the Executive Director of Empyrean Energy PLC, thank you so much for joining us today on Share Talk.
Thanks, Matt.